Kemper Profiler Tones and Talks. I woke up this morning with a cold in my throat. Einen wunderschönen guten Tag. Hi, Thomas. I hope you are well. I'm a little bit under the weather, so forgive me, people, if I sniffle and cough, but I try to cut that out. Thomas Dill is with us.
Hi.
And as I said, hopefully you are well.
I will take over.
Okay.
Your voice. Your voice.
Awesome. Today it's about fuzz. You know, dirty, distorted, nastily distorted stuff. Do you know where the whole fuzz thing started and why? Like which year?
It was in a studio in Nashville. I think it was that recording by Marty Robbins, where the mixing desk was broken, or one channel of the mixing desk was broken, and the guitar player, who also I think played bass, and I think it was a bass six, and he had some solo spot on that, and he used that channel, and it was a really distorted tone. I listened yesterday to this recording. This is absolutely great, very great sounding, and a fuzzy tone, really fuzzy tone. I think I wrote it down here. It was Don't Worry by Marty Robbins. You find that on Spotify everywhere, and on YouTube too. So listen to that at I think minute 1:27. This bass lick started, and it's absolutely great. So what Josh said in this video, and things that I knew was they tried to recreate that tone, and somebody later came into the studio and wanted that sound, but they repaired the channel already. So sad things, they couldn't get this tone already. But the engineer, the sound engineer, was thinking about making a pedal or something like that, a fuzz box, as they called it then, with another guy, and it ended up to be the Maestro Fuzz Tone FZ1, which was not a highlight the first years. I think in the first year when they released it, they sold 3 or 4 units. So it started really with Keith Richards. And not with that sound, but with the Maestro Fuzz sound. Satisfaction was, a main thing, the most popular recording with the fuzz. But other people said that there were fuzz tones or fuzz recordings, I think in a movie score or something, where they used the FC1. And also fuzzy tones were recorded earlier in the late 50s with what was the Link Ray,
Rumble.
Yeah. Oh.
Right.
The brain.
The obvious things sometimes. Rumble.
Rumble. But
I think this one was just a cranked amp.
Some people say it was the cranked speaker, and they had some holes in the speaker, not like Dave Davis did with a screwdriver by himself. Maybe it was an accident, but hey, this is.
But that's also but that's also part of the myth, or the narrative that in parallel to that broken mixer channel, guitar players were experimenting with destroying in a controlled way, destroying their speaker, because they found out that when a speaker breaks, there might be some something in that tone, then that might be usable. So that happened, I think, at the same time.
But it's
But
cheaper to get a fuzz box.
yeah, but yeah, and it was more sustainable also.
Yeah.
Speaking of sustainable, anyways, because with the fuzz boxes at some point then came also the boost effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I didn't want it to disrupt Keith Richards. That was Satisfaction was 67, 65.
I think
So
65.
early.
No. The Maestro was released in 62. I think Satisfaction is 65.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow, let's check
guys, write some comments.
it. Yeah, no problem.
Keith, where are you?
No, no.
I think Keith don't know it.
I think nowadays he remembers.
Maybe because he saw some stuff on the internet. So, but anyways,
65. You're right, of
65,
course.
okay.
Yeah, as usual, you're right.
Ah, no.
So.
Definitely not in years. Definitely not in years. I think that just to make it a little bit short, then the fuzz tone got really known by everybody. They did a great mistake at Maestro. They made some advertisement to which it said make your guitar sound like a saxophone. So no guitar player wants to sound like a saxophone. So they didn't buy it. But then when Keith made this great riff, or recorded that great riff, and I think it was Josh who said that they did that only as a demo because they wanted horns on that. So bam, 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 with the horn section, and he made just some demos, and they let this on the record. So yeah, great to have this accident, same as the accident in the Nashville studio desk. So many things happened by accident. But the next thing that started on was in London, where a studio guitar player asked a technician, an engineer, who should build another fuzz box, which should sound like the FC1, the Maestro fuzz, but with a little bit more sustain. And then they developed the tone bender, which is in very much so. Yeah, I have a newer version here, and we will look at that in the next episode. And yeah, tone bender, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, whole lot of love. The Yardbird stuff, everything is yeah, recorded with the tone bender, and it's a really great fuzz unit. And another guy in London developed the fuzz face, Ivor Arbiter. And this is this, yeah, you know, this, this
Wow.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not an old one. It's not an old one, but normally it's red. The red fuzz, which Hendrix liked very much because it was cheaper than the FC1. They paid, I think the FC1 costs £30, and the fuzz face only costs £9. But the fuzz face, and then we are with how it's, yeah, creating that tone. So normally the overdrive and boost units use op amps to yeah, have a smooth overdrive sound, and the fuzz tone is a really, yeah, as we heard, as you played, is a really hard tone, hard overdriven tone, and it uses transistors. So in the early days, the fuzz FC1 and the tone bender and fuzz face, they had the germanium transistors, which were great sounding, warm tone, but warm is the key word. It was really depending on the temperature. And sometimes when it's, yeah, a certain temperature, it sounds good. And when it's getting hotter or something, different temperature, it doesn't sound good. And with the fuzz phase, they had really the problem that you needed at these days, back in the days, to test about 10 units. They all sound different.
Wow.
And it was really, I've read an article on, it was an Italian website in English. And he has some history of fuzzes. And Ivo Arbiter really needed to check every fuzz with the germanium transistors and then replace them, because some sounded good, some didn't sound good. And the other day, they didn't sound good. So it was hard to get these good sounding germanium transistors. And the alternative for that was using silicon transistors. They sound a bit different, and there is some things in the Hendrix recordings where in the early days he used the fuzz phases with the germanium transistors, and in some place, so this is the myth, Band of Gypsies and some, I think, starting with not Electric Ladyland, he used silicon transistors, but this is not really 100% what I'm saying now. It's just the myth. And it's great to have these myths, so we can talk about these myths. And 10 other people on YouTube can also talk about these myths. And so this is the key things about fuzz tones: germanium transistor, warm tone, and different with temperature; silicon transistors, a more harsh tone. And this is it. Then later in the late 60s, there came the Big Muff, which some people say is a fuzz, some people say it's a distortion unit. It's something in between. So for me, the three fuzzes are the Maestro fuzz, tone bender, fuzz phase, and then another one was built for Hendrix because of this mess with all these fuzz phases. I think Hendrix used to have on tour 10, 15 fuzz phases, and he changed them all the time. And Roger Mayer created then some more stable fuzz tones, including the Octavia, which is heard at Purple Haze. I think the Purple Haze solo was played with an Octavia. So this is, the short story of the fuzz tones in the 60s. And we have 2024, and in pop music, in rock music, in modern blues stuff, fuzz is absolutely hip, and fuzz is very variable. So it's not only this one unit with two controls. There are really great sounding fuzzes these days. I think Fuzz Factory, Z-Vax, Beatronics is really making great fuzzes. What is KMA Audio Machines? Oh, there are many. Earthquaker, many great fuzz units created with octave fuzz, with broken fuzz and everything.
Yeah, the thing is, I find this interesting in terms of genre and tribalism, because there's in one way in the rock and metal realm, there's basically not so much fuzz, if at all, because all the amplifiers are the tone is designed to get rid of the low end and do the distortion and get a very punchy, tight tight distortion, you know, the mesas and all the boutique stuff. And a lot of pedals are looking in that direction as well, with various colors. But the kind of distortion is very round and defined and nice sustain and singing. And then in the other world, there's you know the Black Keys, the Jack Whites, and so many others, the blues guys, who have this complete different approach to tone. Where I think even when you play, if I make sense what I'm talking about here, if you just you know the feedback of the guitar to your playing, if you play like with a modern boutique idea of sound, you have this junk junk junk, this defined feedback from your playing and your you know phrasing like this. If you playing a fuzz, it sort of the tone falls apart at your pick already. So the difference is between junk and
It's
in
like
a way, and so it's a completely different genre and a different school, and you don't too often find people who are using both.
the problem is for modern rock style, metal style, you play very low and you play fast runs. So this play with a fuzz. It's so you can't do that with a fuzz. A fuzz is very much low end, not tight, uncontrollable if you raise up the gain. And but this is the thing, because it's not really that tight controllable. It's yeah, you play with that fuzz and it plays with you, and it leads you to some points where you won't get. And this is the thing. But these old school and really fuzzes that I dig, you can do some great clean tones with them. They are reacting on everything what you're doing with your guitar. And yeah, it's, I was for the next episode yesterday, I sit here with this great guy, tone bender, to recreate this tone with the Kemper fuzz, and it's really hard, I can tell you. But we should start with the Kemper fuzz first.
Okay.
Should I start?
Yeah,
Do you have
please.
anything to say?
No, just coming back a little bit to this genre and mindset situation, because once you actively listen to music more in the pop and blues and a lot of other realms, and not so much in the rock, alternative, and metal area, then if you really listen, you hear a lot of fuzz style stuff, and I was really I lost that for a while, because actually my first distortion pedal back in the day, I had this Fender Twin copy, and it didn't distort at all, so I needed a distortion. So I bought a Big Muff. And I was very, very disappointed. So disappointed. Unbelievable. And I got rid of it as soon as possible. And I got into this MXR Distortion Plus copy by a company called Coron. And I was much happier. But later I found out that indeed the discussion, is the Big Muff a fuzz or is it a distortion? It's, you know...
Fuzz distortion.
Yeah, disfuzzer. There is some stuff in there in terms of expression, and where the guitar has a completely different role in the mix and in the articulation and stuff like that. So this came back to me after, you know, years, decades, basically, because I always was searching for, like everybody else, for the perfect, you know, boutique-like singing, beautiful tone. And so when Christoph Kemper came with, well, we are doing a fuzz system basically for the profile. I said, come on, who wants fuzz? And then, but then I realized, oh, there's a whole big world out there, and now I really dig that. But it's a completely new mindset. So, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, and you touched that already. So much variation, addressing this, and basically the fuzz world tone-wise is much bigger than the rock world, with
Yes.
the distortion and the boutique amps, and a little bit of Marshall here for the classics. But the fuzz
It's
world, what you can do is so much bigger. And
yeah.
I don't want to keep you from diving into this immediately, so that we can have a listen as well.
Okay, so I will start showing you my rig manager screen. Here we are. And yeah, it's just an amp. My Marshall Plexi behind me, which I profiled. And yeah, there is a discussion which amp and which amp sound should you use. I will come to that later. So here is the pure amp. It's something near breakup. Gain at 4.1. So yeah, normal near breakup tone. Just a little bit of natural reverb, and here is the fuzz. So when you have, oh, wait a minute. When you have a normal fuzz pedal, like the fuzz phase, you have two controls, volume and gain, or volume fuzz, or volume attack, anything. It's just volume and the amount of distortion. With the Kemper fuzz, there is a lot more. But you can use some presets. If you have read the manual, which I think 99% of the guitar players don't do, so you will find this one here, Kemper Fuzz Factory presets. So there are some presets that you can use. The red germanium is a replace of something which sounds similar to a fuzz phase, a germanium fuzz phase. Then the preset dark blue silicon is the silicon fuzz phase. Then we have the light blue Hendrix is a Jimi Hendrix fuzz phase. I think it's a Dunlop version of the fuzz phase. And then we have 4 presets for the Psych 69. This is a small Dunlop pedal where you can choose between germanium fuzz sound and silicon fuzz sound, and the buffer on or buffer off for these typical things when you have the bar pedal in front of the fuzz or not. And then there's the Tycho Brahe or Tycho Brahe Octavia, a really rare Octavia, absolutely interesting sound fuzz. There's the Tycho No Octa preset and the Tycho Octavia Min, which you can use. I will show you some sounds with that. And the Roger Mayer Octavia sound is made with the preset Mayer Octavia Min. So if you go for, oh, wait a minute, here we are. Here's the rig manager. So as a starting point, when you've turn on the Kemper fuzz, you have drive and volume. So here are the normal fuzz controls. And then here is, at the right side, is the expert mode, as we can say. So these things that you don't find at a fuzz pedal. And you don't need to think about those if you check out these presets. So go to distortion, go to Kemper fuzz, and here we have the presets. So the germanium fuzz phase, or the opposite of that, I like that one. Tycho Octavia, and then Raise the Drive. Turning the volume knob down on the guitar. So this is the broken tone.
Yeah.
Okay, coming to the controls. I would start with a default setting. Load default, so this is something like a neutral setting. As you can see, drive in the middle, volume in the middle, trans shape, trans tone in the middle, and then the others in minimal position, and the mix at maximum. This is how it sounds like. Okay, so first parameter, the trans shape, is something which can switch between the germanium style on the left, which is this, or silicon style at the opposite side. So
So it's the transistor shape and the transistor tone. Aha, I see. Okay.
So the manual says it changes the shape of the distortion curve. So left germanium style, and on the right side more silicon style. So a more harsh tone. But they are really. The influence of some other settings of the parameters is heard when you do some switchings here. So it depends on the other controls too. But you can hear it's the more warm tone when I play some higher strings. It's more high frequencies. So this is the first thing. Let's stay in the middle. The transistor tone is what they say the high frequency response. So if you like to have this harsh silicon tone, take the transistor shape to the right and take the tone to the right. The opposite. So this stuff. Okay, next thing is the impedance low pass, LP. That means they said that some fuzz pedals have an intense cut of the high frequencies. So as I think it was the Dunlop germanium fuzz, and it has a more low pass. If you like to have a more high frequency tone, turn the impedance low pass to the max, and you really don't hear the differences when you have your guitar volume at maximum. So now it's at maximum, the bridge pickup, turning to the max. You hear a difference. It's not that low frequency, low boost, that muffled low. Very much difference. But much more is when I turn back or roll off the volume on the guitar. So I get this tone. Yeah, let's say about 7 from 10. So you get this warm tone when you roll off the volume. Some people like that. Some people like to have it more trebly sounding. So this is a matter of taste. Okay, next thing, definition. We know the definition parameter from the amp control here. It's nearly the same. So warm tone on the left, harsh tone on the right. And something in between. So you have some controls for tone. Warm tone here, with all the 4 on the left. And the absolutely harsh tone with all the 4 on the right. So, yeah. Not really useful, but you can do that. And yeah, you have the options. Sometimes when you want to have a more harsher tone, then you can take it with transistor tone turned up and the trans shape in direction to germanium at 10 o'clock, let's say, or vice versa. So there are several options to do that. And you can really fine tune your fuzz tone. So it's modifying all these special things. And yeah, I like that. I really like to use some parameter sessions, and some people don't like that. So then for that one, use the presets. So you have, and don't think about those stuff. Another thing, but to get what we just heard were some, normal fuzz tones. So warm tones, not that gritty, not that broken tones. And for the broken tone, there is this control called octa. And let's say, yeah, this is the one. Grid parameter. So we have this one here. Sorry for the noise, but this is a single coil pickup here. When you turn down the volume on the guitar, you get this turning the octa up. Maximum guitar volume. So this is definitely the one when you want to go to those nasty places. Okay, Next thing is the mix level. I think I didn't see any fuzz pedal with a mix level, but it's really great to have. So let's say you have a really nasty fuzz tone with octa, let's say trans shape and a little bit, yeah, definition down and drive much. Turning the mix down, give you a more cleaner tone. And much more. So you have really many shades of fuzz tone with this mix parameter. So you have this typical parallel fuzz, which you can use. You can turn up the gain on the amp and mix a little bit of fuzz to this amp tone. So it's very great to have this mix level. And yeah, what I said before, which amp tone should I use and how much gain should I take for that? It's a matter of taste. I can show you some stuff.
There's yeah also this well, that's the modern approach to this, because in the old days, you know, price to purchase one was definitely an issue, and now everybody, or many of us, have you know, the budget to have 2, 3, 4 various distortion pedals, including fuzz. Yeah. And I know from you know, the David Gilmour, the famous solo of Comfortably Numb, that there's also a fuzz involved into this. And you visited this setting basically because you can make even the high E string sound pretty thick and like a big woolly thing instead of a fine silky thing, and then add a different kind of distortion to bring it into more like the singing realm. But you have that basic shape that you have thickened the string so intensively with the fuzz, and that's, you know, the combination of various things now that also makes a huge difference.
Definitely. So yeah, those parameters. So we have, let's say here, turning the mix up, doing some normal stuff. So now amp gain is at, I will turn the noise gate a little bit more up. Amp gain is at 4, turning the fuzz off. Let's say we raise the gain. Now turning the fuzz on. It's a more compressed tone, so very good for lead tone. Very much sustain, so it's think about it, it's a tally here. So single coil tally, getting that sustain with the fuzz. What you can do also is turn the drive down, raise the volume to use it as some kind of dirty boost pedal. Let's go back with the gain. Now we are at the breakup level. And then turning the fuzz on. Maybe just octa down. Definition down, impedance a bit more up, tone more up, and a really germanium shape. And very less drive. Volume, guitar volume down. And that's what I said about also using a fuzz as for clean tones. So when you have the amp set at a crunch level, this guy, adding the fuzz, more drive, again off, on, and now turning the volume, rolling off the volume on the guitar, especially with the neck pickup. Now, maximum volume and the bridge pickup. So that everything works. And yeah, there are different things to do, let's say as a rule. So for me, my favorite setting is using something like a Marshall amp near breakup with a single coil guitar, and then adding the fuzz with middle gain and getting this dirty tone. So this is the starting point. And then, what do I want to have? Think about, so more sustain, then go ahead with the amp gain, a little bit more amp gain, trying to lower the drive and raise the volume so that it's something like a boost with raised volume, and the dirtiness and the sustain can be controlled by the drive. So this is, just check out everything. And it's very important. Every guitar is different. And these fuzzes, and also the Kemper fuzz, are reacting on those guitar tones, how you roll off the volume, how you work with the tone, and which pickup and everything. And if you're using, or if you have a profiler stage, there's another option. You might have seen it on my screen here.
Do you have it? Okay.
Yes. Here we are. There is this control through impedance. And it's do you exactly know what it does at the profiler?
Yeah, what it does is if you activate that, there's a physical switch,
Yeah.
basically, that switches a different circuit to the input section,
Yeah.
and then the whole impedance situation is closer or more like or even identical, that part I don't know, to what the guitar would see in terms of impedance when it's plugged into one of the old FUZZ devices, which makes for a completely different behavior when you roll down the volume knob, because the dying zone is reached much earlier and much more intensive when true impedance is on.
Definitely. I had this fun yesterday, and we will see in the next episode, but we will see now, or I will show you now. I didn't really know exactly the technical stuff, what it's done, or how it's made, but it's another, yeah, it reacts different. And wait. Taking this one, where are we with the gain? Here. And I need to lower the noise gate. So sorry for the noise, but this should be. And impedance low pass, I will set it to that. Okay, so neck pickup, volume maximum, volume rolled down a little bit, and now with true impedance, maximum, volume rolled down a little bit, and you have this clean tone really much earlier, and it's more brilliant. Volume on. So I can show you that here on the guitar. So this is the maximum volume. And at that point, it's really a little bit. So on Gibson guitars, it's, I think, from 10 to 8. And this really sparkling clean tone. And it's, yeah, nearly the same as with the guy here beside me, the tone bender. So, and this is, yeah, identical if you're using those fuzz tones and if you like to play with the fuzz, also using these clean tones, these. Especially with more drive. So drive is now at 6. You get this typical Jimmy Page tone with the volume knob. It's not only the fuzz. It's the setting here, and maybe he used, oh, pickup knob gone.
Also the especially for these days, the beautiful thing, because that turned the tonal character basically upside down.
Totally.
Because if you open up, you get this falling apart tone with this sustain and really nasty. But when you were lowering the guitar, you get much tighter tone than you would get without it. So that's pretty weird. And this is enhanced by also this impedance, this real hardware, real impedance, true impedance that's available with the Profiler stage. You have to take into consideration, though, it takes a little bit to switch when you have true impedance switched on, and if you switch either the effect on and off or the entire rig, it takes a little bit longer.
I can show you. This one.
So it comes up a little bit slower.
This curve a little bit, but just a little bit. You can I think I could work with that. So the benefit of having this true impedance stuff is this small break of playing worth every time. So for me, I dig that really much.
Yeah, for sure. And usually, if you have this as a tone shaping tool in your chain, you're working around with. You're working around it, and you're doing everything around that as your. You go from there, and you leave it on then for that rig, most probably. And I think this is really interesting, and it gives a lot of information and inspiration to dive into this and get more out of your guitar tone than just the usual stuff, and you can make it much thicker and much more expressive and really explosive, especially when you're having some speakers around you and the guitar gets some additional information from the speakers, and you're getting into the feedback zone. You can create a lot of mess and thunderstorms with it. So and that's really fun. So every once in a while, to play loud might have also a cathartic experience with it, and the fuzz makes it really uncontrollable, which is sometimes also good when we're getting thrown out of the comfort zone. So
definitely the fuzz is known as the broken amp tone and the dirty tone, but this is just one side. The fuzz can be a great tone shaper for clean tones also. So famous last words on that one.
Yeah, very good. And thank you for this. And I've seen that you labeled, the rigs with the LMT tray. Let me throw that rig at you thingy. So these will be available from the rig exchange then as well. And you can fool around with it and check it with your amp tones and see what creative and expressive inspiration might come from this. So extra thanks for this one.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You are welcome. And so the switch on next week when you hear Thomas Dills say, look.
I'm getting mad creating this sound with the Kemper FUZZ, but I think I got some quite close.
Okay, this is going to be cool. So the tone bender challenge with the Kemper FUZZ. Yeah, that's a good expression. So Thomas, we're looking forward to this. See you soon for that one, and for the moment, bye bye.
Bye.